All right, I get it. And believe it or not, I have been exactly where you currently are right now. You're just starting off as a health and safety professional, and you're wondering how you, someone brand new to the field, can approach a scary-looking member of the craft. I mean, not really scary, but to tell them that they're potentially doing something wrong. But worry no longer, because today I'm going to give you the things that I've done throughout my career and that I continue to do that has allowed me to build strong relationships with those that I've worked with, many of whom which still contact me years later looking for advice. So stick around. Hello everybody, my name is Terry Gregory and this is Safety Spiel, where we take an informal look on the health and safety profession, discuss different topics and ideas revolving around the jobs that millions of people interact with each day. So if this piques your interest, go down and hit the big red subscribe button and let's get started. So one of two things have happened to get you to where you are right now. Number one, you're either right out of college and you landed your first health and safety professional gig. You either have an associate's or a bachelor's degree. Maybe you even have your graduated safety professional certificate, your GSP. Or number two, you were voluntold into this position, which, let's face it, this is how a lot of us have got into this gig. It wasn't necessarily our first choice, but when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. I feel like there are more lemons in this recipe sometimes. But either way, you still are not sure how to approach members of the craft, to coach them or tell them that there might be a better way to do what they're doing, or maybe that they're flat out not doing something that they should be doing though. Not like this though. Not like this. Let's cover some things that you should be doing in order to build relationships with those working in the field. But in doing these things, you have to keep in mind that you are not one of the boys or girls. You're at this job to perform a very specific role, and you are not always going to be the good guy. Sometimes decisions are going to have to be made that don't necessarily make you Mr. or Mrs. Popular, like enforcing your people wearing long sleeve shirts regardless if they want to or regardless if they agree with it, because it's part of company policy and everyone is required to wear them. I've ran into that a couple of times. So while we go through these items, keep in mind that you are not necessarily there to build friendships. Be careful though, because you may in fact build some, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to enforce the same rules to everyone on the job site that you are responsible for. So without further ado, let's just roll into these items. First one you want to remember is you want to lose the chip that is on your shoulder. You have to be aware that you do not know everything. So when you come into your first job, you have to realize that you still have a lot to learn. You cannot go rushing into a job site, yelling at everyone and telling people that they're doing something wrong just because of a perceived risk, without acknowledging the complete whole of the job that is being performed. Now, there will be some tasks that have a hazardous element that cannot be removed, such as riggers who are placing a pipe down a section of flooring. One or two of them may have to get under the load in order to tighten or loosen up bolts or whatever the case is in order to secure two of the flanges together. If something doesn't look right, stop and ask questions. There are a lot of gray areas as to how certain jobs can be done. And don't get me wrong, there are some items within OSHA, within company policy and procedures that are black and white, but that won't always be the case. When you come into cases such as these, just review OSHA, read the company procedures and find out what the requirements are, then take these two considerations when trying to help assist the work group in planning the job or answering whatever questions they may have, and always try to take the more conservative approach in minimizing the hazards for that task. And if you need help, ask. Just because you went to school does not mean that you have been able to learn everything from books. Ask questions. Talk to your immediate supervisor or lead, or talk to the work group. Talk to anyone in your department. Talk to others that you've met with when you were in school. The fact of the matter is, you will never stop asking questions throughout your career. I've been working in this career nearly 15 years, and I still ask questions every single day. Sometimes it's to verify information that I already know to be true, and sometimes I just have no idea. So lose the chip off your shoulder and don't expect to be able to know everything, because you won't. So start getting into the habit of asking questions. If asking questions makes you feel uncomfortable, this may be the wrong field for you to be in. So it is something you need to begin overcoming now. The next one, introduce yourself and speak to the craft. When you start a new project or you get moved to a different area within a project, or really whenever you start somewhere that you will be encountering new individuals, you want to introduce yourself. When I used to work at the VC Summer New Nuclear Project, I had the pleasure of working pretty much every area within the site. And whenever I would go to a new area for a period of time, I would walk around and introduce myself. For example, the Unit 2 and 3 turbines for that project, I walked down every single elevation. I found every nook, every cranny. I walked down through every laydown yard, popped my head into every trailer, every connex, every break room, and I introduced myself. You guys watch some of those Western movies where a stranger walks into a bar and everything goes silent and everyone turns and looks at him? Be prepared for that same reaction when you start popping your head into break rooms. And if you don't see anyone in the break room, don't go inside, just turn around and try again later. But walk in and introduce yourself. Hi, my name is Terry and I'm the new safety guy set to support all of you. I just wanted to walk around and get a chance to meet everybody. What are your names? And then, they'll tell you, and you go, great, nice to meet you guys. I also wanted to find out, what do you thought of the health and safety program we have? What do you think about it? What are your concerns? And how can I help to bridge the gaps that there may be? Now, I had a lot of success with this, and after I did it, and after I figured out where everyone was and what they were doing, I was able to formulate a plan for what I did next, which is the next one, being out in the field as much as you can. So once I was able to find out where everyone was and I had an idea of what they were doing, I picked one crew to spend the day with. The next day, I would pick another crew, and the next day, I would pick another one. And I would do this until I was able to spend a day with each and every crew. Now, sometimes this may not be the case for all of them, like iron workers. You can't run the iron with them. But in this case, you want to try to understand what schedule they're working and try to be nearby so they can still see you and you can understand what they're doing, and then it's easier for them to holler at you if they have any questions or if they want to comment on something. But once you identify the crew you're going to spend the day with, make sure you be there first thing in the morning. Have breakfast with them. Sit in on their morning meetings. Sit in on their job hazard analysis or safety task analysis or job safety analysis. Whatever you call them at your project, just make sure you sit there with them and go over it with them. Spend the day with them at the job site. Ask questions about what they are doing and why they are doing things a certain way. Be as productive as you can and learn as much as you can. A lot of these craft employees love talking about what they're doing and teaching someone about their job who is willing to learn and fully understand. And they love it even more when it is a safety guy because, let's face it, not a lot of safety guys take the time to do this. That is sometimes where a big disconnect comes between the field and safety. Now, a lot of craft have issues with safety because the safety guy will only point out what is wrong with what is being done without trying to understand why it is being done the certain way. As far as being out in the field, you want to follow the 90-10 rule, which means you want to spend 90% of your time in the field and only 10% of your time in the office doing paperwork that you have to have done. And when you're just starting out, this shouldn't be that hard to do. If the field do not see you out in the field, they won't know who you are. They won't get to know you, and they won't be able to fully understand that you are truly there to help them. But make sure when you are in the field, you are out there in a positive way. You have to actually be caring about these people, about getting to know what they are doing and understanding what they are doing. All right, for the next one, I need everyone to really pay attention to me. Come in and listen to the words fixing to come out of my mouth. Don't ever call members of the craft hands. And if this is something that you are currently doing today, stop. Look, this might fly for some professions. Superintendents, general foremen, owners of the company, they may be able to get away with this. As the health and safety professional, you are never to call any member of the craft hands because these people do not work for you. Even if they are hands, they are not your hands. To be quite frank, when it really comes down to it, the health and safety profession is a support function. Full stop. We are placed within these projects to support management and the craft. So if you really think about it, you work for the ones who are in the field doing the jobs. You work for the hands. I used to work with a guy who did this all the time. Hey, Han. Hey, Han, how's it going? Hey, Han, raise this chain hoist so no one walks into it and busts their teeth. Annoyed the piss out of me. If you do this as a health and safety professional, you come off as you are this self-righteous, arrogant asshole. Sorry. You can't be bothered to learn the names of those in the field. Not only that, but the craft won't want anything to do with you either because this comes off as disrespectful. Regardless of how you view the people in the field, most of these people are masters of their craft and could do their job in their sleep. I know I couldn't do their job. Why do you think I became a safety guy? That's a joke. I mean, it's true, but yeah. Moving on. The next one is coach the way you would want to be coached. And this one is going to give away a kumbaya vibe, but there is some merit to it. Whenever you see someone that may be doing something they shouldn't be doing, or is doing, or isn't doing something they should be doing, that person is able to be coached. But when you try to coach someone, it's always about how you try to coach that person. You're actively caring about that person when you're coaching them, because you either don't want to see them get in trouble for something, or you don't want them to get injured or worse, killed over something that is happening. Now, I'm not going to tell you to coddle people's feelings, because if they're wrong, they're wrong. But approach the person and talk to them the way that you would like to be spoken to. For example, if you see someone going up or down a set of stairs without using the handrail, you can say something like this: "Hey buddy, can I get you to please hold the handrail? I don't want you to accidentally lose your footing and slip, break an ankle or your neck. I would just really appreciate if you would hold the handrail." Just a little friendly coaching. People are 90% more likely to be open to the coaching, rather if someone just yells at them to hold the handrail. One time I had a guy come in the building that I was in, and he still had his sunglasses on. But I just asked him, would you please take your sunglasses off while he was inside? And well, he took them off. When he turned around, he put them back on. And I was just like, "Oh, all right, dude, yeah, come on, just take your sunglasses off." He turned around, yanked his glasses off, and goes, "Why? What is the problem?" And I tried to explain to him that if he had the dark glasses on, he could trip over something. His ability to see inside would be impaired, because these were some dark glasses. And I didn't want him to trip over something accidentally, because if he did, the incident would kind of be considered his fault, because he was blatantly disregarding something that we have in our procedures about tinted glasses inside of buildings. He looked at me and goes, "Well, I want to see that in a procedure, and I want to see where it says that." So I just told him that as soon as I get back to my desk, I will highlight this section for him and send it on his way, but I was not going to stand there and let him continue to wear the sunglasses while inside of the building, because I didn't want to see anything happen to him. So sometimes you may not get the response that you had hoped, or even the one that you imagined that you would get. But not everyone will be accepting to coaching. All you can do is be professional and do not back down. If someone gets outright with you, try and get their name, look down on their badge or something, and take it up with their supervisor. But make sure to tell your supervision about it as well, so they are aware of what's going on, because if someone pops off at you for coaching them, it is typically a direct reflection of their own leadership. The next one is hold everyone to the same standards. The craft will pick up on favoritism very quickly, and nothing can be more detrimental to your reputation than picking and choosing who you enforce procedure and regulations among, or to. If the CEO is walking around without a hard hat or safety glasses, they deserve to be coached just as well as the plant manager does, just as well as the superintendent or general foreman or foreman do, just as much as the iron worker or the support staff do as well. Injury doesn't single anyone out, and if something is proceduralized or written in policy or governmental regulations, then there really should be no argument about it. If the craft see you not enforcing something to the CEO, it shows a clear sign that the rules don't apply to him or her, so why should it apply to the craft? Why do they have to follow the same rules if supervision isn't going to follow them as well? After that, it would be very hard to gain any kind of trust or respect back from the craft. You also need to make sure you read and understand the procedures as well, because sometimes the people that challenged me the most were the craft. And they will know these procedures, and they will test you to see how much you know. But if something comes up and you get challenged but you aren't sure of the answer, just tell them, "I'm not real sure. Let me go look at the procedure, and I'll be right back out and tell you." But make sure when you get back with them relatively soon afterwards, not just, I forgot. They will know these procedures, so you should too. I mean, it's your job, so learn them. The next one, maintain integrity. Do not go in the field and say one thing and then go back to the management office and say something entirely different. Whatever message you are trying to promote, you have to remain consistent. Also, don't go into management and bash those who are out in the field, and then turn around and go out into the field and bash those who are in the office. You might get some good old boy banter from one or the other at the moment, but it will catch up to you, and this will be damage the way that people see you, and you will no longer have any integrity with management or the field. And at this point, you might as well just pack up your bags and go to another project, because it's going to be an even rougher uphill battle for you. Not going to get any easier. The next one is talk to people, not down to them. I do not care what level you are within the company. You are no better than anyone else who may work there. And as a true health and safety professional, you are there as support, your support staff. You are there to help them get the job done. You're not there to stop work. I mean, yeah, sure, if something is being done in an unsafe manner, then you stop the work, but you do so temporarily until an appropriate path forward can be done or found. You're not better than anyone else on the job site just because you're the safety person. And this one should really probably be number one when we talk about losing the chip off your shoulder, because there are a lot of health and safety people who walk around with this inferiority complex and walk around the job site acting like the safety cop. Don't do that. Not only will it be a detriment to yourself professionally, but you will be possibly damaging the safety culture that may already be on site or the one that you're trying to build. You don't have a badge and you don't have a nice fancy hat, so stop trying to be a safety cop. It's irritating. And the last one that we really need to cover is a very obvious one. Be yourself. Unless you're an asshole, then, be someone else. People need to be able to understand that you are there to help. You're not there to hinder production. You're not there to get people written up or have people fired. I always gave people 3 strikes, unless they committed one of the deadly sins of health and safety, which we'll get into in a different episode. But for example, if someone didn't have their safety glasses on, the first time, I would just give them a friendly coaching. Hey, you need your sunglasses, your safety glasses on. The second time, coach them again, but I would state that it's the second time I'm having to tell them, and if they did it again, I would have to bring it to their supervision. And now there are different variables that we can discuss within that logic, because a lot of things are treated on a case-by-case basis, but we are there to help, remind, or enforce company policy and regulations. Listen, most people do not get up in the morning to blatantly disregard health and safety. A lot of times, people just get caught up so much in their work that they sometimes forget. And this isn't all the time, mind you. Some people are just buttholes. But again, the role of a health and safety professional is to help and support. Sometimes we have to be the bad guy. We're not always there to make friends with craft or with management. I mean, I once had a lady tell me when I was starting out as a health and safety person, she told me, "You're not doing your job right unless you piss some people off." That was a horrible impression of her. But that is just not true. It's all about how you talk to people and how you treat people. If you treat people with dignity and respect, most often than not, you will get the same in return from them. And yeah, we're not there to make friends with people in the craft, in the field. We're not there to make friends with management. But following the things on this list will make your day a lot easier, and you will, in turn, hopefully be able to get a lot more stuff done. As I said at the beginning of this video, everything on this list I have done throughout my 15 years of experience as a health and safety professional, and I have had a lot of success with this. And it is in hopes that you do these things on this list and you have success with these things as well. If you enjoyed this video, please go down and hit the like button and let us hear your feedback down in the comments below. Doing this will certainly help us improve our future videos and will allow us the ability to grow. If you want to catch more videos like this, then head down and click the big red subscribe button along with the little bell icon so you can get notified when I drop the next video. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care of each other.